Flowers like glacier, pretty like ray tracing. I've become complacent.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. In today's video, I have some plant care chores that I need to take care of. I have an extremely root-bound plant that I just need to uppot. I also have a plant that's an ICU. I need to see what's going on with her. And I have another plant that I just plan on chopping up so that I can propagate her. If that's something you're interested in, please keep watching. I also want to talk about one planty item I just recently picked up. It's really cute, really dope, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. I found it on sale at Target. It's non-plant related. So here's the item that I recently purchased at Target. I found it on sale. And look, you guys, look at this cute pillow. I am in love. Does this look like me or no? I thought it was really cute. I'm gonna add it to my little pillow collection over here. And currently over here with my pillows, let me show you what I have. These are some of the pillows that I already have on my little bench underneath my window. And I'm gonna add this cute one that I recently found at Target. It's so cute. It's not planty themed, but I love the art on the pillow. And I also love that the background color of it is green. So yeah, what do you think? Okay, let's get into the plant chores. This is the first plant that I plan on taking care of today. She's doing okay. She gives me problems sometimes, but that's okay. I bought her as a Philodendron pastizanum, but I think this is a McDowell. It comes in with the pink on the back of the leaf, and it is really beautiful. And from some of the research I've done, it has the characteristics of a McDowell. It's also seems to be a crawling plant, but I actually have her on a moss pole because at the time I didn't feel like dealing with a crawling plant. And I remember seeing a comment of someone telling me to go ahead and give my Gloriosum a try on a moss pole. And here is a crawling plant that I have been growing on a moss pole. She just, you know, is my problem child. So I, you know, didn't even think about her. And she has a burnt leaf. She was in one of my XOs and she ended up touching the top of the XO and was extremely close to the grow light, and she got toe up. And also this baby is in LECA. And she's on a janky moss pole. It's something that I had just threw together at the time just to get her, you know, growing up. I think I have started this plant over maybe 2 or 3 times. Nope, maybe 2 times. This plant has cut up on me so bad to where I had to like cut off all the leaves. But let me also try to show you her aerial roots from when she was in the XO. Unfortunately, she's no longer in the XO because she has got way too big and she's taken up some good real estate in there. So I moved her out. I do my best to keep her moss pole as moist as I can so she doesn't, you know, go through too much shock. And after I repot her, I'm gonna go ahead and clean her leaves up a little bit. Here is her newest leaf. This leaf was growing when I took her out the XO, and I didn't think it was gonna make it, but it looked like it's doing pretty good. It didn't brown up or crisp up or anything, which is something I do expect when I move my plants out of a high humidity, high heat type of environment. You know, once you move them into normal living conditions, the leaves can, you know, act up. They will, you know, brown up, crisp up a little bit. They might even drop some leaves just to acclimate because most of these tropical plants love being in an environment with high humidity and high heat. So when you remove them from that type of environment, sometimes, you know, they gotta go through a little period of acclimating. That happens to me a lot with my anthuriums if I do have them in that type of condition. So yeah, but this plant she's going hard, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at her, but she is in the original pot I put her in. I didn't really expect to keep her in this pot as long as she's been in here, but she's been doing very well. I'm gonna go ahead and put her in my 6-inch tall pot. I think this pot that she's already is in is only 5 inches, but you know, it's short. Hopefully she'll love the new environment. Let me tell you something. I watered this plant 2 days ago. It's in Leca. I gave it a nice water reservoir for her, and today she is bone dry. So I don't want her to continue to be stressed out from being underwatered. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pot her a little bit. Hopefully that doesn't piss her off, because sometimes when I take plants out of their root bound pots and pot them just a little bit, sometimes they can be a little fussy if they're just used to having their roots so close to their water source, especially when they're in Leca. So let me go ahead and get started with this plant baby right here. Again, this is my Philodendron, what I think to be a McDowell. And she's just chilling in a 5-inch pot in Leca. She is so beautiful. Oh, okay, she's already showing out. So let me get the pot. Oh God. And another thing that I'm hoping to achieve putting her in a new pot is that she'll be a little bit more stable. Of course, since she's a crawling plant, she's getting pretty top heavy. These leaves are really heavy, so that's why I had her in this ceramic outer pot to keep her from flipping over. But I do prefer to have her just in a clear pot so I can see her water reservoir easily to see when she needs water, because I can tell when this plant is stressed out from being underwatered. She gets the bugs real bad. So I want to keep her from going through that going forward if I can. Oh my God, the lights just cut off. I don't know where my phone is. Don't fall. Don't fall. Ooh. I don't want to disturb her roots whatsoever unless the leca just completely falls off of her roots. But this is what her roots are looking like, you guys. I'm not sure what kind of lazy moss pole she was on, because I can see that it has some type of PVC pipe in here. I'm wondering if it's a self-watering moss pole that I have made before for some of my plants. So I can already see I'm gonna have dry moss falling all over the place, but she's not gonna stand up on her own, so let me work pretty quickly. Hold on. So let me see if I can just easily use this bowl I have here to repot her. Okay, awesome. Now let's see how she gonna act. Let's see, hold on. Ooh, I'm gonna try to tilt her back just a little bit since she's so front heavy because of her leaves, and see if I can get her just a little bit more stable in this pot. And if possible, I would like to cover some of these aerial roots she had from before in the leca. I'm gonna go ahead and use this glass stick that I recently found randomly in my home to get the leca to settle in the pot just a little bit more so she's more stable. Okay, you guys, I finished. That went a lot better than I anticipated, to be honest with you, and I'm not upset. So I did not disturb her root system whatsoever. In the leca, I just simply gave her just a little bit more leca at the bottom, put her in here and filled the rest of the pot with leca just to make her a little bit more stable in here and to where she can actually have a decent water reservoir for the leca, because she's been going through her water like crazy. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and just put her back in this cover pot. This is the plastic water reservoir that I've been using for her. Let me see if this 6-inch pot fits in this. Let me see. Okay, I'm pushing it. I'm pushing it. Can you see? This pot is deforming this outer pot a whole lot, and I really like this outer pot, so let me go ahead and find one that's a little bigger. I found this 7-inch clear saucer for her, and it's actually brand new. It looks like a really good one. Ooh, look at that, we cooking with grease, okay? And I must say that I really love these type of clear saucers. They're pretty hard to find. You can't find them in the store. I did find them at an online store, but they're really expensive for what they are, and I don't understand. But I think these are used for plant arrangements that you get, you know, in the store, or you know, for a delivery or something like that. So maybe that's why they're probably not made for what I'm using them for, just, you know, regular plant stuff. Let me see if it'll fit back in this ceramic pot. So with the saucer under the pot, it's a little bit of a tight fit. I want to say this ceramic pot it's under 8 inches. It's not 7, but it's under 8, but I think this will be perfect. It's a little taller, but let's see. It should be easy just to pull her out. Yeah, that's what I need. It looks like it's just easy to pull her out, check how much water she has, and just put her back in here. So that's what I need. And this is her. She is looking awesome. So let's go ahead and get on to the next plant. Oh, before I move on, let me see. So before I get started on the next plant, I'm just gonna go ahead and use my Captain Jack's insecticidal soap and just wipe off the back of her leaves, because I can see some unwanted guests. And we're not going for that. I'm so rough. And I be nervous sometimes when I'm wiping off leaves, because I'm scared I'm gonna just rip one, because I just am so rough and heavy-handed. But this plant is really hardy. She's doing pretty good. I'm really proud of her. I'm more concerned with the underside of this plant's leaves, because that's where the unwanted friends be chilling at. But you kind of have to be rough, right? Because if you don't get into the nooks and crannies of some of these leaves, you might miss one of these unwanted friends. Oh yeah, and I think this plant gets spider mites a lot because it requires more water than sometimes I even realize or have time to deal with. But with it being summer here, it's very warm, so it's just going through its water a lot. But that's the case with a lot of these plants, but none of them have anything on this baby right here when it comes to drinking water, except my dark lord that I just recently replanted. So that looks good. I'll go ahead and try to, let me be careful with this leaf that's been burned by the grow light. Isn't it crazy how these plants are reaching for the light and they just be hurting themselves reaching for the light? I don't know. So this is how she turned out. I think she looks amazing. So I'll go ahead and give her some nutrient water, and let's go ahead and get on to the next plant. Okay, here's the next plant I'd like to take care of today. This is the plant that is in ICU. I don't know what's going on with this plant. This is normally a very easygoing plant. She's been in LECA. She's been doing very well, actually. When I put her in here, all she had was one leaf, actually, because this was a top cutting from the mother plant that I cut up. So I want to say this must be her oldest leaf here. And like I said, she was a top cutting. My experience with this Philodendron Bernardopazii, if I'm saying that correctly, I'm probably not. But my experience with this plant is it's very difficult to propagate. And man, I don't know. I just know it's very difficult to propagate because when I chopped this plant up, I just took a top cutting. The top cutting started doing amazing and the bottom of the plant went to hell. And it just recently started growing back, but I had put the bottom cutting, I had put it outside, and that's when it started growing back. So I think this plant requires some really high heat because I'm in Texas right now. Outside, the feels like high outside is like 108, 109, somewhere around there. And as soon as I put that plant out there, even though it dropped all of its leaves, it just started shooting out a new growth point while it was outside. It's in LECA as well. So it's been in my house. It's not, of course it's not freezing in here because it's the middle of the summer, but I thought it would be okay. But when I put it outside, it started doing really well. So I think I'm really nervous, but I think I'm gonna chop this plant. I'm not gonna chop it into very many pieces. I think I'm just gonna take one cutting from it and see if I can start a new plant. And look at this bottom leaf here. There's the bottom leaf right there. That just recently happened. This plant was doing very well. I was checking this plant out one day and I realized that the newer leaves were coming in pretty small. So here's the newest leaf. And this plant has been successfully shooting out leaves that are this size. So I know something's wrong with her. So I'm gonna go ahead and check her roots and see if she's root bound or if she's just requiring more water than I'm used to, because this is a really hot summer for us here. So maybe she's just a little stressed out. So I'm gonna check her roots and I'm gonna take a cutting from her, put it in water and see if I could get it to root. And if it does root for me, I'm just gonna add it back to this plant. I mean, I love this plant. Look at her. And when I first got her, she had some humongous leaves, but she had got so tall, so I just chopped her and took the top cutting and the bottom of the plant went to hell, and I couldn't believe it. But the more you know. When I bought this plant, I've never really seen a lot of people with it. So, and I didn't see any, videos on this plant on YouTube at the time before I started my channel. So I didn't have a lot to go off of, but it also could be that this isn't a very popular plant. I have no idea. But I think I got this plant 2 years ago, maybe. But it's actually, before it started shooting out these smaller leaves, it's been doing very well on this D-shaped moss pole. This pole has cocoa chips in it and it has been really well. Right here, if it picks up, her aerial roots are actually growing into the cocoa core. So, for the most part, it's been happy. I think it's just upset because of the weather in my area at the time. And also this cover pot, I love this cover pot. I got this from Lowe's and I got this from Lowe's last summer. It's perfect for my tall, clear pots that have the ventilation. Let me show you. So this is the pot it's in. And this outer pot is awesome. I think it's a self-watering pot, but I do have a saucer in here because this plant does live on a wire shelf that has lights under it, and I can't risk, you know, the plug in this ceramic pot to, you know, be my only defense of not starting an electrical fire. She has some decent roots growing actually, and some of them look like they may have even rotted a little bit. I don't know. Let me get out the shot. So hopefully you can see the roots growing out the bottom of the pot. It's actually, you know, it's not super root bound, but it has some decent roots, some really good roots that I'm kind of proud of actually. So I'm not gonna remove the bottom of the plant out of this pot or uppot it at all. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and take a cutting of her to see if I can grow it some more, just in case. And it even looks like it's getting maybe burned from the grow light, but that's really crazy because, I don't know, this plant has been in the same spot for the longest and none of her other leaves have any signs of stress or burns from the grow light that she's under. Even this one, it's just as high as this leaf, and it doesn't have the same type of, it looks like burning. So let me go ahead and cut the zip tie that I have on her to keep her attached to this pole. Because during the winter, I noticed she wasn't attaching to the pole like she has been doing, so I just kind of gave her a little bit of help. I really want to cut her down. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut her right here, since she has a few different nodes where she can grow some roots and I wouldn't have to cut off any of her leaves. And I also think that I'm gonna remove it from the ceramic cover pot because this plant is going through its water really quickly and I can't see when it's out of water. So let's go. I really don't like cutting my plants. It makes me very uncomfortable. And these are her top leaves. This is the cutting. And I would also like to mention that she has a lot of the EFN, the extra floral nectaries, if I'm saying that properly. And I know that's a sign of stress when it comes to the philodendrons. So this is her newest leaf. She has a point where she looks like she's trying to grow a new leaf. And this is her second to newest leaf, and it actually looks like it is experiencing burn from the grow light, which is really crazy to me. And this thing is leaking. Hold on. So I'm gonna let this piece go ahead and callus over. I'm gonna put it in a cup of water and just see if I can get some roots out of it. And I also like to say the last time that I propagated this plant, the roots were not happy in water for an extended period of time. This ain't no pothos. Don't leave this plant in water for too long because it truly doesn't like it. And that's all I'm going to be doing with this plant is just simply taking a cutting from it so I can see if I can, you know, maybe grow another plant. I'm going to take another cutting and put it outside. I'm not crazy about cutting up my plants, but sometimes you just got to get in there. And this is what I'm left with at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and try to put her in a clear cover pot or something very simple so I can just monitor her water reservoir a little closer. So when she does run out, I can just go ahead and easily top her off. Ooh, let's use this one. See if she fits in there. Boom. And this is how she will go back on my plant shelf so I can monitor her water reservoir a little better. All right, let's go ahead and get on to the next plant. So here is the next plant that I'm gonna go ahead and take care of today. This is a recent plant purchase for me that I actually unboxed on this channel, and I repotted her not too long ago when I received her. She's in this self-watering planter, and she is going through water like crazy, So I'd like to get a cutting from this plant, not just because I like having multiple plants, but I would like to have some more of it just in case. I mean, and once these cuttings that I take today start rooting, I'm probably gonna put them back together in a bigger pot. Right now it's in a 5-inch or 5.5-inch self-watering pot, which I love. I love these self-watering pots so much, but I think that this plant could use a larger water reservoir for sure, So, and also look at these little, can you see the little baby leaf that's super dark? This is how it came in. And this was a mishap by me, this super crispy leaf, or it could even be from it just acclimating to my conditions. I have no idea, but I'm pretty sure it was underwatered. But the other leaves that are growing in are sizing up really well. The only thing is they're not as dark, but it doesn't really bother me that much. It just doesn't look like how I thought the plant would be when I purchased it. And look at the back of these leaves, you guys. Can you see that? That is so pretty. And that has a lot to do with the reason why I even bought this plant in the first place, because of the color. And when I bought this plant, I already knew I was gonna deal with some type of challenge. And that's the reason why it took me so long to get this plant, because I've been wanting it, but I just knew when I got it, I was gonna have problems, and here are my problems. I mean, it's growing very well. It looks pretty good in my opinion, considering what it could look like. I love these furry looking petioles on this plant. I just love it, but I just wanna get some more pieces of it, so if I do something wrong, then I just have more than one piece. And it's also getting very close to the top of the moss pole. So this is the top of the moss pole. I do not plan on extending this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and chop it up for the reasons I just mentioned, and see if I can just add them back to the bottom of the plant. So let's see if I can get this at a good angle. So let's remove this clip. So I'm gonna cut the plant. Oh, I'm trying to cover my face. I'm gonna cut the plant right here. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm telling you, I'm not a person that's crazy about cutting my plants. And sometimes I know you just gotta do what you gotta do. But I also feel like I can't go wrong with getting a cutting of this plant. It's so beautiful. And let me go ahead and get a container for it. So I'm going to use this clear container for now. And let me see if it'll fit in here. Look at that, yes. And here's the back. And here's what this cutting looks like. If you're curious, or if you're ever looking for any of these clear containers, I find my clear containers and vases for my plants at Goodwill. Normally I find them for like $1, $1.50, and sometimes they're even on sale. And if I don't get like a tall, clear vessel like this, I will get like maybe some short glasses for some of my smaller plants, and those are like maybe 25 to 50 cents. It just depends on, you know, your area and the prices they charge for some of their items. But yeah, I get these clear containers from Goodwill. And sometimes I find them at Hobby Lobby like for half off, but those are the ones that are much bigger if I'm in a pinch. But most of my clear containers, my clear cups and vases or whatever you want to call them, I get them from Goodwill. So let me go ahead and see if I have it in me to take another cutting of this plant. So I'm going to go ahead and take the plant clip off. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the plant right here. Boom. And I'm still going to attach the plant back to the moss pole. I haven't been doing a really good job at keeping this moss pole wet, but I recently added one of these watering globes to the top of this moss pole. And this is a moss pole that I don't plan on ever really extending anytime soon. So I just need to do better, honestly, at keeping this moss pole a little bit more moist. It's just sitting on a shelf, drying out real bad, real bad. So let me see if this other cutting will fit into this container. And if it doesn't, I'll just try to go see if I have another one. And I really don't want to disturb the top cutting too bad, but I would like for them to be together if I can. This is what the Philodendron Verrucosum's cuttings look like together here in this container that I have just sitting over here. This right now is like 4 leaves or so, but the stem is pretty slim and it's fitting here okay. The only thing that I can see myself running into is trying to keep this full of water. But maybe I will just need to put it in a location that I can monitor it every day to make sure that it doesn't dry out, you know. So yeah. I love this plant, but I think I feel like I need another shot. I need another shot at getting this to grow right, but that's okay. You know, sometimes when you own a lot of plants, things just sneak past you, especially when you're busy. And I don't like to use that as an excuse, but you know, it is what it is. And all I can do is look at my plants when they're like this and be like, I need to do better. So I will try to do better. And like I was saying before, it doesn't help that right now in Houston, the temperature is crazy, crazy hot. So I will try to do better. So again, here is the mother plant. And maybe I should move it a little further away from the light source so I can get the leaves to be this dark again, because I really love this color. But maybe, you know, in its greatest form, the leaves are this color. Not sure. I've never owned one before, but I've always wanted this plant. I'm really happy to have it. So hopefully going forward, I'll do the right thing and keep this plant happy. So these are all the plant chores that I have for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.
Flowers like glaciers, pretty like ray tracing.